Read it again. It's a very frightening book. But you have to, in order to live, finally, make so many difficult and dangerous choices that the one thing you really are trying to save is what you lose. And what you're trying to save is one thing: your ability to touch another human being or be touched by that person. Mm-hmm. You know, that's what you're really trying to save. And when you realize you can't save that either, you hit the needle. You know? And it is one more way. After all, the junk comes from somewhere. I don't care how many cowboys they throw to the wolves and how many, drives against drugs. I lived in the ghetto, and I watched it. You know,
I think that's the biggest hype in the world.
You buy drugs in the ghetto like you buy whiskey in the deep south from the sheriff.
Right.
You know, yeah. It's part of a criminal conspiracy to destroy black people. The proof of this is nobody cared as long as our kids were dying. Mm-hmm. It's only when it got, the plague spread outward up to Scarsdale, Westchester, and white kids started dying. Then we have a drug problem.
They have a drug problem.
No.
I think it's a big hype. And I'm not on anything, so I don't know it from the inside. I don't try to. But all it's done is to divide the people who are not on drugs. Because the junkie and the pusher go on.
The junkie and pusher do go on.
They have a love affair. But nobody's going to break them up. But you and I fight about it.
I think really, seriously, something my brother said to me years ago, he got robbed by a junkie, right? Okay. And he was very hot, he was very angry. But then he realized that the junkie didn't have any choice but to rob him. Did you know that the whole point was to set you at a division, Mm-hmm. I decided after that, that the junkie is a victim like me, a brother like me. Mm-hmm. I ain't no better than he is. I really am not any better than he is. We're in the same trap. We're in the same trap for the same reasons. Do you know? Mm-hmm. It's the same way, that the great powers can use a tribal war in some unknown country, set them against each other, then blame both parties and put the money in Switzerland, and they still own the country.
Yep. But both countries are to blame because they have to stop and think about it.
Of course. I mean,
Nigeria just finished with that horrendous fiasco, which is what you're talking about.
One of the examples that I mean.
Yeah. There was no point in it.
But, baby, it takes people a very long time to learn a very little. If you consider your own life, if I consider my life, when I think how little I've learned in, after all, a fairly long time, and what it has cost me to learn whatever I've learned, and then to face whatever it is I've learned, and then to act on it, it takes a long time.